What's up, fellow anglers? Tim here. So quick update, in the last month's Monster Bass box, we got one of these B8Labs Ultimate Strike Baits lures that came in the box. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, it's over there on the Kansas Angler, you may have seen that I wasn't too happy with this because as you probably hopefully can see right there is a water line. So the lure itself started taking on water after about 10-15 casts, which is not great. It's supposed to be a floating lure, but you see it turned it into a sinking lure. And I find it interesting, the water, even a week later, still has not drained out of this lure. So I put that up. The folks at B8Labs did reach out, wanted to make an opportunity to make it right, which I'm more than willing to do. We know that sometimes, manufacturing items like this, there can be one or two that maybe are the bad batch or a bad few that go out to customers. And that happens. I received their package today and I was kind of surprised at the number of items that they put in there. So I thought I'd show you what they sent me real quick, which I think is pretty cool. So B8Labs team, I appreciate it. And then I'm actually going to take this stuff out and give it a try just like I would the Monster Bass items. So we can kind of see, again, is this real? Does it work? Or do I continue to have problems? Or was this just a one-off? So here's the box. Let's take a look. All right, so they did tell me they're going to throw, of course, send me a new lure here, and they were going to throw a couple of plastics in here as well. I was actually rather surprised at the number of items that they sent me, and some of the items I'm not familiar with either. So let's start with the, of course, replacement products here. They actually sent me two. So this is, they're actually just slightly different colors. So there's the original. Actually, this is the same. Instead of a faded dot, this one has a solid dot. The colors are just slightly different. So, but it's the same lure. So they sent me that as a replacement there. Again, no water inside, so it doesn't come with water at all. So that's pretty cool. And then they sent me this one here, kind of a ghost blue. I don't know if they have the colors on their packaging. Not seeing them listed. It does seem like a newer company. It is a USA company. But yeah, so this is more like a ghost shad is kind of what I would think about this. A little bit of blue on the top, which is interesting. So they sent me a couple of those, so it's pretty cool. And then they sent me some plastics. They sent me a good amount of plastics, but I'm going to take a look here real quick. So this is what they call their, just their 5-inch worm. Now, all of these have a couple similarities. Of course, they say it's tournament winning action, blah, 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 blah. Strong flavor. So I don't know if you can read this on the package here, but it says extreme squid scent. And boy, I was rather surprised. If I could share that with y'all, man, that's a smell. If you've ever had squid or dried squid, it does smell like squid. So definitely gonna have to wash my hands after this, but let's take a look at these plastics. Couple things that are different here. They actually have eyes on their worms. They've got spots for your hooks, so little gaps and such for your hooks to work into the lure as well. They got this little fluted design at the back here in addition. So those would be very interesting to hook up. I can definitely, I don't know if you can see, I got the oil on my hands, but definitely is a squid smell, which is interesting. I've actually used dried squid before for panfish, and it actually worked really well. So, but there's that one. It's a worm, 5-inch worm. Sent me a few of these different 5-inch worms. So kind of a green, pumpkin green color as usual, which is always a great color to try out. Or I guess this is more of the green pumpkin. This is just more of a lighter green, like a chartreuse and green. I'm still learning all my colors. Yeah, green pumpkin. This is green pumpkin and chartreuse. And this one is evil crawdad is what they call that last one there. So all the same shape, just different colors, all the same smells. Every single one of their soft plastics has this smell. So they did send me a card from the owner, which I appreciate. Which I believe that was Sean Paul. Sean, appreciate it, man. So here we got some strike minnows. So these are interesting as well. This one's looking pretty good here. Same thing, has the smell on there. 4-inch minnow here. Again, a little bit different shapes than I've seen before. They all have the eyes protruding out. Does have the hook slot on the bottom of the bait here. Pretty thin though, and if you can see that, kind of really is going to grasp around that hook. So I kind of like that a little bit as well. It also has a couple of divots here on top, which I think is for help lining up kind of where your hook normally sits or where it lands on the bait itself. Really thin back edge here, so that tail should flutter like crazy in the water. So the action there should be pretty interesting to throw. Let me get this back in the package. Only thing about this plastic trays, I never get them back in there, right? That's okay though. So they sent that one here, again, 5-inch strike minnow. This one's in the evil crawdad color as well. And then they also sent this. It's a 4-inch. This is a 5-inch. And a bluegill flash. Now, also, let's say one thing on here. I was looking at this closely. The colors aren't 100% consistent from plastic to plastic. So I don't know if it's a smaller operation getting going. That really doesn't matter too much for me. So like you can see here, this plastic is mostly clear with a little bit of blue on top. But this top lure is probably a good half of the blue color and half of the color, clear on the bottom. It has some kind of spreading out of the plastics up here on the front. So I don't know a lot about shooting plastics, but I always think it's interesting to see how those color changes are done. It's interesting to see. So they sent me those as well. And yeah, they sent me a few other things, some things I haven't seen before. So this is interesting here. This is a set of rattles that you can add to your hooks, be it a Texas rig, be it a jig, or anything else like that. So I don't think I've ever really seen anything like these. I've seen rattles, but where it has a spot in the middle here that would go onto your hook with the 2 rattles on the other side. Hopefully y'all could hear that. So pretty handy rattles. So those will be interesting to see how those work out. So they sent me rattles. There's 2 of those. They also sent me a couple of blades. So same thing, kind of like spinning blades that you can add to your baits. Same type of setup. It's got the hook set in the middle, 2 end pieces, so you can add that to the outside of like your swim bait, anything else like that. I mean, I could definitely see taking like one of these swim baits, hooking that up, and then throwing these on to get some additional spin as it's going through the water and flare. Especially early on right now as pre-spawn gets coming around the corner and they're going to be chasing those shad. So they sent me both of those, and then lastly, and I'll throw this box to the side here, they sent me their Ultimate Strike jig as well. And this I do appreciate. It's a lead-free product. I believe this is their bluegill color. Yeah, bluegill flash. Looks like they do have a vibe jig and a chatterbait as well, which should be interesting. So have to show appreciation for the B8Labs team. Again, doing what they can to make things right, to kind of get me set up with all of these items, just because I had an issue with this one bad lure. So I'm going to take these out, again, like I said, along with my monster bass stuff that I normally do. And we'll give this company another go and see how these baits work out. They seem like great folks, so I hope this was just a fluke and that we'll catch some solid fish on these. But only time will tell. So let's get out there and find out. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. Again, if you can, get outside, get a pole in the water. Enjoy your social distancing. What better thing to do while you're social distancing than do a little bit of fishing out there. So take care of yourself, my friends. Don't forget to wash your hands. Take care.